What's up, everybody? Wes, Hank, and Andy. Welcome back to Monday night.
Special edition.
Special edition of Back in Black series here on Fandom Power, as we had a life event creep up, as they do sometimes. And so we made an adjustment.
And creep out.
That's not my story to tell.
That's okay. No, I'm feeling much better. Yeah, we had
Okay,
a little tummy hiccup. That'll happen when you're closer to 60 than you are 30.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
I can definitely appreciate that. Tonight, what are we doing? Oh, by the way, sorry for anybody who was counting on us last night. I apologize for that. It happens. But anyway, if you didn't notice, next week's social media post is already up. So if you haven't had a look at that, head on over to our socials and vote on next week. It is a far more dense show than we're going to have tonight. Just 14 slides tonight. I know this week it's deluxe vehicles, creatures, and deluxe releases, of which there are exactly 3. So it's not going to be a super long show, but we're going to make up for that next week with our 17 offerings.
That's awesome.
This week is the beginning. I guess technically last week we did look at some things that are sort of adjacent to the 40th anniversary of Empire. Tonight we are firmly entrenched in the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back. Everything that we are looking at tonight is stamped 40th anniversary. None of it, however, is in retro packaging. It's all in standard black and red Black Series packaging. That being said, it is the end of the black and red packaging this week.
But that's okay.
It's only been a few years.
It's only been...
Let's just check in here for a second. Nate Series says, I thought I'd fallen through a time vortex back to the present. Well, wait, if you're coming to us from the future and you were here yesterday, then we are now in your tomorrow. No, that's not right.
Something should line up there, though.
That's right. Josh says, yeah, I can't drink coffee. They'll have me running screaming. Fair enough. You know, there's that whole, like, I get up and breakfast is coffee and a cigarette gets me going to the bathroom. That doesn't happen to everybody. There's a very small portion of the population that actually gets the motility aspect of coffee. However, as Nate says, it's part of the risk because with no reward, or part of the fun with no reward, there's no reward without risk. That's so true. Sean's here. Hi, Sean. Nice to see you.
Welcome.
Thanks for hanging out with us on a Monday night. I know this isn't our usual stuff, but that's okay. Tomorrow's Tuesday. I think we're tracking. We're on schedule. We're tracking for a normal random fandom this week.
We'll get it back.
Normal. Let's see what sort of pubic wigs we can come up with this week.
From the What the Fandom file.
Yep.
Right. I'm a fan of the pubic region. I'm also a fan of wigs. I don't know if I'm a fan of those things together.
Well,
That's a hard one to top, really.
After we went off the air, I was scrolling through my Instagram, and one of the social content creators I follow happened to be like, did you see these things? I got one in every color.
You know what that reminds me of?
And I really? People bought it, but they did sell out, right?
So. I want to propose this because a few years ago, and maybe it's probably more like a decade ago. Do you guys remember the golf visor with the built-in spiky hair?
No, but I remember like the Vegas visor.
Oh yeah, like
clear red or the clear green.
Yeah. This, like about a decade ago, it was a big deal. Were these like golf visors, but it actually had a hair piece in it. So it's essentially a hat.
Yeah.
But the top of the hat was hair.
Oh, weird.
I wonder if there was some inspiration from the golf visor hair hat.
Maybe.
Anyway, what are we talking? We're talking about the weather. Are we talking about the weather?
I don't know.
What's going on
cold the last couple of days.
Okay, I'll drink it on. Still drink it on cold days.
Well, it's a good way to warm up.
It's cold, only about 14 degrees out, 14 C. I appreciate that, Josh.
I have
speaking in metric.
Inoperable ulcerative colitis, and I drink coffee every day. I can't help it.
You know what happened to me? Talking about the coffee thing, and this has been like, I drink black coffee, but as a rule, if I'm having hot percolated coffee, it's black. There's no sugar. There's no nothing.
Yeah, Fair, yeah.
Every once in a while, Kim and I, my wife, will be out shopping or doing something. And Dollarama is bad for this because they make it so accessible because there's that cooler. It's in the line as you're going to check out.
Yep.
There's a cooler. I'm like, oh, do I need a drink?
It's not at every store yet, but oh wait, you mean the drink cooler?
Yeah, the drink cooler.
The drink cooler. There's a additional cooler there now, though.
Beer?
No, it's got ice cream treats.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not in every one. There isn't a lot of them.
Go buy the drink cooler, and of course, what's in there. And I don't speak the language for anybody who's ever talked to me about coffee. I don't do Starbucks. As a rule, I don't do Starbucks because I can't speak the language when I walk in there. I don't know the difference between a grande and a venti and a
venti triple mocha latte.
Yeah, I don't know any of that stuff.
Something or other.
But I do know it tastes good. And they have those like little coffee drinks that are like 100% sugar.
Glass bottle even.
Yeah. I love those. So then I got switched on to iced coffee. And so now I've been on an iced coffee kick now for the last several months, and I've been buying it in the grocery store and bringing it home. That's my coffee story. Love iced coffee. All right. Josh absolutely hates Starbucks.
I don't go there for ethical reasons. They support some horrible shit in the world.
Things.
They killed dragons to make dragon fruit.
They use them. They got
right there.
Mermaid for their.
I mean, just based on that, yeah.
You've all seen that the meme picture with the legs over her head.
Yep.
Not much of a maiden there, I don't think.
Way to go, designers.
All right, you guys want to take a look at what we are going to talk about tonight, other than coffee and weird stuff?
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at the preview slide. We are talking about, here they are. By the way, of all of the Black Series black and red boxes, I have to ask this question. Why is it that the droid and the Luke Yoda pack are the only ones to have the retro style silver banding around it? Because that looks so nice.
Yeah.
Gives you Kenner vibes.
I wonder if that's probably what they're doing, what they're going for, is trying to tie it into
I think so.
I don't have any of the other ones. The other deluxes don't have them, eh?
Well, this was it. This was it for the year, and this was it for the Empire Strikes Back. There wasn't anything else for this movie. It is the snow speeder. It came with Dak Ralter. I'm looking forward to talking about Dak.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. So I have some answers for who, by the way. I don't normally do that, but I did this week because I knew it was going to come up. Huh?
You mean the guy that got stepped on?
Yeah, the Imperial probe droid, which hands down, best droid in the line.
It is super nice.
Best droid in the Black Series, even though it is abominationally big. And no, it's not big for the scale. It's just big in terms of other Black Series figures. And I want every variation. I want the Solo variant. I want all of the variants of the Viper probe. Because of this, it is so good. And then Luke and Yoda, which I think there's going to be a lot of discussion around that as well.
I would not want to run into that probe droid in the back alley.
No. Nate says Starbucks have tried and tried to break into the Australian market, but they can't succeed because the coffee is terrible. Aussies are very passionate about coffee. I feel like we have this coffee kinship between the two countries, amongst other kinships.
There's got to be a beer kinship in there too, is there not?
Oh, aye.
Aye.
What else are we going to say here? Josh says, I didn't know they made a big snow speeder. I thought about getting it. The snow speeder is my favorite vehicle. That's first up on the docket tonight. I think you'd be surprised and maybe a little disappointed that you didn't get it.
Because looking at it in person, it is really friggin' nice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. Sorry, what are you in here? Let's go. I wear my snow speeder when I'm my snow speedo when I'm pretending to be He-Man.
Well, you gotta cover the sword off of Corey then.
Oh boy. Is that where awesome. Am I at here? Oh, I'm in the wrong. I gotta set up the buttons here. The buttons were not ready.
Find the controls to extend the bridge.
You get one of those. Starbucks has a couple things that I like. But I'm trying to order there is like programming a space. Yes, it is like trying to program the space shuttle. I agree. It's awful. Sean says, I saw the Luke and Yoda. They wanted almost $100.
Ooh.
I don't think that aftermarket maybe.
I think Toys R Us.
It was definitely.
It was like $89.99 at Toys R Us or something stupid like that.
Yeah, it was expensive. I can't deny that it was.
So does that mean it was like $59 at GameStop?
I can't remember. I think that's one of the things I pre-ordered actually. I do. That's a rare for me, but I did pre-order this.
As always, I'll stick with the U.S. pricing because that's the easiest pricing to find. It becomes a little bit more. There's a little more gymnastics to do if I go, what was the price of this in that year?
Because it varied from
store absolutely to store, right? Yeah, and it varied depending on the rate of inflation and all of that other stuff. The snow speeder. I think I'm the only. I own the snow. Hank, you do not have one.
I do not. No, it's super jelly. Yeah,
you have the TIE Fighter. I got rid of the TIE Fighter.
Yeah,
and got this. I'm not disappointed with this. This is great. And when you see it in 6-inch scale, but by the way, there it is. This was $119.99 US. And I almost think that it wasn't much more than that. Like in Canada, I think it might have been $1.50.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, like,
I remember seeing it on sale.
Yeah.
Because its price point kept it from selling. And I saw it sub $80 and was super upset that I thought it was going to be there forever. And
I actually thought that the price point was absolutely affordable.
No, 100%. That was my theory, that it went sub $80 and there was like 20 of them on the shelf.
Yeah. Sean says, I was at a small toy store downtown. They sell all kinds of Star Wars figures. When you say downtown, Sean, I know where you mean.
Mm-hmm.
What store are you speaking of?
Something about a basement.
I was going to say Mom's. Is that Mom's basement?
No, there's that one for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if the other one over on was it George Street?
The guy on George Street.
That does
yeah, I know the one. That's the hairdresser, the barber in the front.
Yeah.
I tried to question him about a vintage Mattel Battlestar Galactica Viper, and of course, no, that's my own personal one.
Oh,
and yeah, okay, all right,
very cool. Thanks for showing us.
Hang in your store.
I've been to a few of those. There's one local.
Yep,
it's like Lost Island or something in Dark.
Yeah.
And he had like the original. Was it the original 12 figures in a collector's case?
Yeah.
In a display, and I like, and I make pretty good money, so I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I walked out and I was like, how much for that? He's like, oh no, that's not for sale.
It's not for sale.
What? Keep it at home, bro.
So I'll say this, Andy, you can attest to this because you were there. In the years that I owned the store, I made a decision early on that everything in the store, including the furniture, was for sale for the right price.
Right.
And people came in and literally bought the artwork off the wall that I had up for. I'm like, it's just my artwork. I couldn't replace it, but for the right price, I will sell it to you. And people bought it.
Yes,
that's awesome.
So yeah.
Well, that's like, because you know how many times I've gone into, especially not recently, because I don't think you could do it anymore, but like in the 90s when all the new stuff was dropping around the prequels and stuff, the late 90s.
Yeah.
To go into a Walmart and say, I want that display stand when you're done with it. And they if nobody had claimed it yet,
put your name on it.
You write your name on it.
Yeah.
And come back and pick it up. Yeah.
That's how I saw a guy. I went to, I guess it was, I don't know if it was Fan Expo or Toronto Comic Con, one of the two. And the year that I met Ray Park, and the guy behind me in the line had the blow mold 1-to-1 scale Pepsi promotional Darth Maul.
Nice.
That he brought in on a fridge cart and wheeled it up and had Ray Park sign it. And then
dope.
And then Ray was like, are you here like for the day, for the show? And he's like, yeah. He's like, do you want to leave that in my booth? And it'll be fine. So he's like, yeah, sure. So this 1-to-1 Darth Maul Pepsi promotional thing stood at Ray Park's booth for the day.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
With a signature on it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I remember buying this. I did buy it from GameStop, and I was not disappointed. Unfortunately, 6-inch scale does not really support the world building aspect that a 3 3/4 line does when it comes to vehicles, and that's why we've gotten so few of them.
Could you imagine a scaled AT-AT for this? Oh,
well, I mean, you can see the picture of Dak standing there beside it, so I mean, that doesn't really give you the sense of scale. Like, you remember what it was like, and even now, to pick up a vintage Kenner Millennium Falcon and whoosh it around. By the way, Whoosh Effect t-shirts now available on the merch site.
Nice.
Whooshing the snowspeeder is almost the same experience as whooshing the vintage Millennium Falcon. It is that much plastic in your hand.
That's awesome.
Well, let's take a look at it. There it is.
The photos do not do it justice.
No, they really don't. The lighting is off in these ones,
but
too.
Still, like, you can see a lot of the details coming through in there.
So there is some removable paneling, which you can see here. It pretty much goes together the same way that you remember your vintage snowspeeder. The cannons clip onto the front,
yep,
and peg into the body. The big difference here is that the vintage snowspeeder only had a single landing gear.
That's
and
right.
This one has 3 of them. If I had to make a singular complaint about the snowspeeder, I will say this, is that the 2 rear skids are actually connected to the doors. So when the doors open, they're already there and you fold them down. That is the weakest point of the whole design. I would have preferred that they were because they can flip down.
You're right.
I wish they were part of the body itself, like the interior, and then
the original just had 2 fins that it sat on that made up the.
It had the singular. You pulled the switch on the bottom, and it
Right.
It flopped down the.
But where the back 2, where there were 2 little fins that.
Yeah, just like little nubs that it rested on.
Yeah.
Besides the obvious, the DAC figure, there is some other accessories, and this is a very interesting choice. They've included the Ascension gun that Luke uses to get to the belly of the TIE fighter. It's unclear if... What did I say?
TIE fighter.
You're right, the AT-AT. Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking TIE fighter.
Because Hank has the TIE fighter.
I'm suffering from the whoosh effect.
Nice.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Is that paint or are those decals?
Everything is tampoed.
Okay.
Everything is tampoed. You don't have to put anything on this, except you got to peg the guns and stuff onto it when it comes out of the box. But that's nothing. Like, it's literally just open it up, put the things on, and you're done.
Super clean factory.
Yeah. There's another feature here that the photos don't show. Do you remember in The Empire Strikes Back? I don't know if I have a photo of this. I'm just going to look ahead if I do. I don't. In The Empire Strikes Back, when Rogue Squadron is flying out to find them, and we see that first opening sequence of the snowspeeders, and there's the steering vanes that...
Yeah.
The steering vanes are part of this, and they do articulate. So that is a thing on this, which improves the design from the vintage, or the Power of the Force one by like tenfold, if you ask me. What are we going on here?
Oh, apparently there's another one down the street from Mom's.
I didn't know that.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Nate wants us to know that a scaled AT-AT would be the size of a horse.
More than likely.
It would be close. You got to be able to fly through its legs. So at least a pony.
Exactly.
The HasLab Cobra Rattler is hard to whoosh around. It's very heavy and hard to hold. You can't just hold on by the stand.
That was the best thing about that old Falcon. That
the central leg.
The central leg.
You just grabbed it and
like, oh, it was wicked.
It was like holding a shield. Wish the Power of the Force 2 one had those that pop out. Yeah, it just is a whole other level of detail that with the bigger scale comes more detail.
I like to see a little more weathering on the bottom, like like a little bit. Any given ship is going to wear heavier on the bottom, takeoffs and landings and stuff. But she's a beaut. I would like to see some paint apps in the interior of that hatch there. There's ways to improve it, but yeah, she's a beaut though.
Hashtag the whoosh effect.
Wicked.
Yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful. And by the way, all of the gimmicks of the vintage toy are here as well, including the tackle block that the harpoon line attaches to. In the back, you can see there's a little flap. That is the string with the block with its own little storage space.
That's cool.
Nice.
All right, let's do you guys want to rank the snowspeeder separately from DAC and then come back and do a total package thing?
Sure. What are we rating this week?
Walkers on the South Ridge.
Imperials have entered the base. I don't know.
This is 5 of whatever we're using. Wampa arms, severed Wampa arms.
Oh, I'm good with that. Let's do it.
Yeah. This is easily 5 severed Wampa arms.
Yeah.
And it could be a 6 with some of those paint apps I was talking about. It's dynamite.
Andy, what do you think of the snow speeder?
It looks fun. It's like the right size that you could still whoosh it around.
Yeah.
But I'm going to knock 1 point off.
Okay.
Because we'll never get the same scale at.
Oh,
and how cool would that be to just fly around your, 6 scale?
I think
6-inch scale.
I know it's coming up and we're going to talk about it with the probe droid, but like, you remember the Nintendo Rogue Squadron game, and that was part of, you're at the Battle of Hoth. Yeah. So you could in effect zip around and like bullseye these probe droids, but not the same effect as roping an AT-AT.
No.
Nice whoosh effect. Still, that's a better scale. I like it.
5 whoosh effects. Yeah. As one of the few vehicles in the Black Series, and I can't comment on the ones I don't own. I don't own Ray's Junk Speeder, and I don't own Enfys Nest's Swoop. I didn't even handle them. Like, I've never even seen them. I mean, I did see the Junk Speeder in box because we had a couple and we sold them. But I do think that like this is like, of the vehicles that I own, it's tough. Like, the speeder bike is really good, and the land speeder is just okay. Do I think this is better than the speeder bike? It's tough for me. I agree. Like, for what it is a 5 out of 5. I don't think it's necessarily the best vehicle in the line, as limited as that is. But damn, it is. How about this way? It's the best Rebel vehicle in the line. Because it's the only one.
I think, it looks good in the background of a shot, and that's hard to get the scale right with when you're doing action figure photography. So
yeah.
Like you could be in a hangar and stuff. Where the speeder bikes 100%. They're more like you want to put your figures on them.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, well, let's get to. I guess you can consider this the accessory, probably the best accessory that came with it. I am talking about the Dak Ralter action figure. There he is in all of his glory, with and without helmet. Now, trying to find imagery of Dak, that helmeted image is about the best thing that I could find. So that meant I had to fish for other roles. It doesn't have a big filmography, by the way. But this is John Morton. And in case you didn't know, John Morton was also one of the airline pilots in the opening sequence of Flash Gordon.
Oh, wow.
When the storm hits, he played the astronaut Nate, of which this is the image we're looking at from Superman 2.
Talking about typecast.
Yeah. He played an American Padre in A Bridge Too Far. And not only was he Dak, but uncredited, he was Jeremy Bulloch's double for Boba Fett.
Oh, wow.
In The Empire Strikes Back. And I think that when you look at the with the soft undercap, and you look at his face and compare it to the photo from Superman 2, I think the likeness here
it's not bad.
Is really good. Like, it's way better than I give it credit for, or than I think some people would give it credit for anyway.
Oh, it looks great. It looks especially great with the helmet on.
It does look good with the helmet on. Yeah. This is not a reuse.
No?
This is not a reuse of Pilot Luke. This is a new tooled figure with winter. Yeah.
I guess he technically beats Luke to the punch too.
So right? Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if that's 100% true. Now, the order that we're covering it, we are covering the Snow Speeder first, but this is part of the Empire 40th. So the question is, did the winter pilot Luke figure, did it come out at the same time?
Oh, I see.
Right? Like, because they are part of the same blitz of figures. And in saying that, let's take a look at the two of them together. There's Luke beside Dak. There is a minor difference here in that Dak uses a different belt, and so that lower fringe of his coat is different than the one from Luke. But for all intents and purposes, they are the same body. We're gonna have a better look at Luke, or a closer look at Luke, next week. So yeah, Dak Ralter. What do you guys think of Hank? What do you think of Dak Ralter?
I'd probably score the Luke higher, but that's, first of all, it's that's an amazing decision by Hasbro. Like, I wish they would, whoever was doing these decisions, first of all, to include a figure with a vehicle, because a lot of times the 3.75 doesn't even bother to do that.
Yep.
So to include a figure with a 6-inch vehicle is awesome. And then this I know that it lends itself to this character because you're going to get single carded Lukes.
Yep.
It's part of my problem with why I don't have this is this figure. You know, that's probably 4 out of 5 swoosh effects. It
Yeah.
That's twice I've rated something so high that I don't have
That
in
you
hand.
don't own, yeah.
And I own the Luke, but he's on carded 40th card, and you know me, and
Yeah.
I haven't been able to rip those things open yet.
Some things.
I have ripped open the Endor Rebel. I did it.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I
That's
had
cool.
two.
Some things just remain sacred, right?
Yeah. So 4 out of 5. This is a
4 out of 5.
nice action figure. I can't really even speak to his articulation. I like the big padded the gloves. You know, the snow speeder look. Probably, if it's not my favorite scene in the movie, and among many favorite scenes in my favorite movie,
Yep.
It might be one of the best action sequences of all time.
The crash or the whole
Just
battle?
the whole Battle of Hoth.
Yeah, it's great. It is absolutely great. Did you guys see that there's a potentially an upcoming release of the theatrical editions of the movies?
Yeah, I thought I wasn't sure if I sent that to you or not, but yeah.
No, I'm interested in seeing what's going on there.
It looks like they're going to pull the trigger.
Anyway, that's an interesting. I think about that because of when we talk about like the George Lucas effect on his own movies, like, I mean, he's made the best fan films, of all time, right? Because he just keeps messing with his own movies. One of the earliest things that they did was they corrected some of the plates. So, like, if you go back and watch the earliest versions, including the theatrical, not just the color correction, but like
the opacity.
Yeah, you could see through.
Oh yeah,
the structural. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
So,
well, you recall when they aired that A New Hope or Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like it was maybe in the spring, or it was at a festival, and they did it, and Kathleen Kennedy was there, and she was like, like, this is a rare event. But the reviews were that it was actually, the quality was horrible. People were like, wow, it was so bad, because it was an original,
I didn't know that
original cut somebody had found. And yeah, the reviews were not that the film was horrible, but the quality. They were like, wow, like, okay, maybe Lucas wasn't, whistling Dixie when he was like, I need to fix this.
I don't, I'm not so hard on them. I feel like they have their place. I mean, for a lot of people, that is the Star Wars that they know. So
yeah, you can watch as near. There's a VHS.
The despecialized
or despecialized. No, well, there's that too, but there is a copy that's like
there's
2 TV
another
print on an official release. I think it's one of the first DVD.
Oh, there's that was an old DVD set that was a transfer from a Laserdisc set.
So it's as close to the original version as you're going to see commercially.
But even that, like that set, they say that the Laserdisc transfer was not very good to begin with. So
yeah,
whatever this new thing that they're working on is, apparently it looks like it's fully remastered.
Do you remember my Laserdisc from when we were kids? My Bob had a Laserdisc, and we had MASH and Star Wars, the only 2 movies we had.
Yeah. I see your comment, Josh. I'm going to pass on that for tonight, only because we're going to move on. But I appreciate that. I think, what you should do is you should take a recording of that, and you should post it up on your own social media so we can share it. I think that's a pretty good, that'll solve that'll get it out to everybody. Let's do that. Sorry. Are we still scoring, Dak?
Yeah, we're still scoring.
What do you think?
Did I say 4? I think
you said 4. You did say 4, Hank.
I'm gonna give him a 3.5.
3.5. Wow. What's the limiting factor here?
He's a background character for me, right? Like,
yeah, okay.
I mean, you say
he
snow
lives
speeder.
30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Where's my Luke? But I see we get Luke later. But, it is a good idea to include him, because otherwise, I mean, is there that much call for him?
I mean,
For a completist, yes.
He only appears in that one sequence.
I mean, compared to other background characters, you might have an argument, but I'm like, I feel a deficit for not having the character. Like, it's one of those. I don't know. It's a great moment. We don't see many characters sacrifice. We don't see many named characters sacrifice themselves.
That's true.
Like actually bite the bullet. And so he's one of the few sort of rebellion martyrs we get to see.
I want to make an argument here before I rate Dak, which I think is valid. It's the same argument, Hank. I'm going to attribute this one to you when we talked about Wedge and how Wedge was a reuse of the Luke body.
Yeah.
And it's like, so why don't I have all the pilots? Where's my Trapper? Where's my... So same thing here. Why don't I have all of Rogue Squadron? Why don't I have Wedge?
Yeah. Zeb Canesta,
right? Yeah.
Porkins.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, Porkins live, damn it.
That'd be a big fluffy flight suit, that one.
Anyway, you get my point.
Yeah.
And I sympathize. I empathize with you guys. And I think I agree with your limitation, Andy. Like, it's just such a limiting character. You could have given me, I would have had the same emotional response to the Snowspeeder if you had given me Rogue Leader, whoever that guy was, which we never get his name, or Wedge, or somebody else. I appreciate Dak though for what he is. And I think that as Josh said, he has no weapons. He's technically he's got a weapon. He's got the harpoon. He's got the harpoon gun, technically, which you did have to snap onto the vehicle out of the box. I know it doesn't make it any better, but yeah, it's a new tooled figure. And if you didn't get the Luke Skywalker before you got this, it felt right. And for that reason, and I think I had the Snowspeeder before I had Luke, because it was like, if I'm getting this, I have to get the Luke.
Right. Yeah. Well, and they knew that too. So,
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Was this on a card back in the box?
No,
like
it's just he's just Luke in the cardboard. Yeah. Not even in a wax baggie. Just
no, they hadn't. They hadn't
done
that yet. No.
So for me, because I had him first. Not saying that he was released first, but I had him first. I feel like because he's a newly tooled figure, I think he's like a 3.5, maybe a 4.
Okay,
maybe a 4.
Andy, would it have been better for you if the Snowspeeder were crushed and then was more? No, I'm not even being a jerk. Like more scene specific. Would it be he would be more relevant to that situation?
I think so, because like that is a very specific portion.
No, it really is.
Right?
Yeah.
And right now you've got a generic Snowspeeder, which technically could be used for anybody in the rebellion.
If I had kept the centerpiece, and I had the Luke Skywalker centerpiece, they would have been nice companion pieces, right? With the AT-AT, the leg. Yeah, I mean, and Luke coming around it, but
a little black mustache and some repaint. You could have your Wedge there if you wanted, or your Biggs. What if Biggs lived?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if they wanted to like go all out, they could have just included like a snap-off section that featured a little bit of a crushing effect.
Oh,
that's cool.
I don't know about that. I think
it's hard to get that tech right. You remember the He-Man with the chest where the battle damage, it would just roll to the damage and roll.
Yeah.
Well, there was a Hot Wheels
taken from Hot Wheels.
Oh, the doors,
the crashers, right?
The friggin' doors that would pop in
the bumper. That He-Man, the rolling barrel thing, is a direct lift from Hot Wheels.
I didn't know that.
You hit the front bumper and the bumper would flip over and
it had I remember the ones with the crunch doors that would flip. The doors would.
I had one
similar thing, I guess.
The whole top would rotate over and crunch.
Oh wow! I guess it's easier to do in a different form factor, but like I agree. I think that there is, because now we're getting into, it's not a vehicle anymore. It's a diorama. If you're doing the crush,
no, 100%.
So does it have to be like? Could it? That might have been a better thing with the centerpiece line.
Yeah,
have the crushed Snowspeeder with the leg still on it, and then Luke.
Well, I did say crushed, but we could back up a bit because he just crashes. It doesn't need to be crushed. It can just be battle damaged heavily.
I was looking for photos of the shooting model, and all I could find was photos of actual models or other model makers. And there's a version out there, and I don't know if it was scratch built or not, with the bent cannons.
Yes,
from nosing in, like
and that could be a spare set of cannons. You just pop on the bent ones
for sure.
that
They could have
scene.
done that.
So there you go.
They
There you go.
definitely
We're
could have
getting
done that.
closer to something cool.
I wonder now.
Better than 5.
See, this is gonna happen. And this is like the twistedness of a toy collector, right? Because we think about this stuff. Somewhere down the line, somebody's got this in their collection and they're going to sell it. And somebody out there is going to buy it just so they can bend those cannons just to do that.
Right, right.
Would they have to though, with all the 3D printers out there now?
I guess you could. Yeah,
Just
you could print your own
bent set
once you get the measurements off the straight
Exactly.
ones. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, so 3.5 or 4 for Dak for me. I like him.
Cool.
Yeah, a big difference here is that that lower fringe coat portion is softer on Dak, which makes him just a little bit easier to
slide
the
into.
tooling looks similar,
speeder.
but it is different. How does he sit, like with the let's get down to brass tacks with those leg things? Does he sit?
They did it like
okay?
they did it like they did the vintage line. Like it's a straight leg, you slide them in under the dashboard. There's no like sitting on a car seat where there's
so there's no articulate. You don't have to articulate the legs.
No, you can literally just whoop.
Yeah, because you can't do that with the TIE fighter. You need to be a friggin' brain surgeon to put the pilot in the TIE fighter. It's mental.
Get out your hair dryer, pop the figure in half, stick the legs in, and then put it back
He's
together.
never coming out, I'll tell you that. He's never, ever coming out of that cockpit.
Oh, man. All right, let's get on with the next one. This one, man, I really like this. This was another one where it was like, with the speeder bike, I bought 2 speeder bikes. So I'm like, do I need multiples of these? And I'm like, no. The movie, there's only one. There's only one. It's the Imperial Probe Droid. This one comes in at a retail price point of $29.99 US.
At that price, you need at least 7.
Well, I can't remember what that worked out at the time. It might have been, maybe we were 30, $35.
Something
like
that.
Was it 35 for us, Hank? You've got one there.
I got 2 there. It didn't.
Oh, you got 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't that expensive because I did get 2.
I like that. So do you have
really nice?
You have your antennas are up? No, they're up.
Yeah.
Because they do collapse.
They do, yes. So he's quite articulate too, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, every leg has got an articulation point, or at least 2 articulation points.
Pay attention, Grievous. Even the wrists, like, the little wrists.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fantastic. Is there head articulate? There is too.
Yeah, there is. And I believe that.
And then he comes with a little snow stand.
Again, it just, if you had that.
Mine's actually, I don't know if you can see it. It's warped ever so slightly because I used to pose Zeb on top of it, attacking it.
Sitting on it.
And Zeb is a heavy character, so it warped my...
Bent the rod?
Bent my pole, yeah.
Oh,
bent my rod.
Are we allowed to say that?
I think I can.
My rod. Oh, man.
So nice, I bought it twice.
Nate says, I've been hunting the vintage one of these to go with my Hoth playset. Man, even the vintage one is okay. You know what the worst one is? Do you remember the micro collection?
Oh.
The Star Wars micro collection. So like the little metal, non-posable, like 25 millimeter guys. There's a version of this. It came with the Wampa cave and that it had a hole in the bottom. The legs were all, it looked like I don't know how to explain it, but they were all pointed the same direction, had no articulation, and it sat on a pin, and you flicked it and it flipped it off. Like if you could fling that thing across a room. Anyway.
Damage.
Yeah. Here he is anyway. I don't think that all the photos do the same justice as you holding it in hand, Hank.
Yeah, she's pretty sweet. This is, boys, I'm feeling generous. I don't know if it's the cold medicine. This is a 4.5 out of 5, and it might even be a 5. It's great. I don't handle it much. It sits on my Inquisitor shelf because there's the with the torture droid and the it just lends itself to. I wish we got the small Inquisitor.
The smaller Inquisitor droid. Yeah, I'm with you on that
with the characters, but yeah, I mean, give me more of this stuff, like world building stuff that makes sense. You know, more droids, more background characters that let me like build a scene.
This
is great.
We talked about last week when we looked at the Kenner style Wampa. Like the Wampa would have made a good build a figure The probe droid, I mean, even if you did it, let's say the head is in one, the body's in another, and all the legs are in another one, right? Like, because I know there wasn't a lot of Hoth specific figures, but spread out over the course of all of the Empire styled figures, this is an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's low hanging fruit that they didn't do, and I don't know if I'd buy it or not, but I'm thinking, you could have put a light dusting of snow on a Chewie figure and dropped it in an Empire box and easily
Mm-hmm.
suckered us, so.
Get a 6-inch scaled party time Chewie.
Josh says, luckily there was a guy on eBay that 3D printed a stand for the Power of the Force 2 one. It was annoying that it didn't have one, and it was hard to balance on its arms. Yeah, it would be. It would be. Nate coming in with another 5 whoosh effects.
Yeah, she's pretty 5.
I like the. I know it's a droid, and that means we don't have to really worry about likenesses too much.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Really, okay, so it's all black plastic, whereas the screen one looks a little more gray. Which again,
I'd say this is gray in hand. This is like a gunmetal, like a dark.
Is it?
Yeah,
I'm in a dark room, so I'm looking at mine.
It sure is. Yeah, I had it in the light earlier because I didn't want to have it on camera without dusting it.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, it's darker than it is light, but it's still like a gunmetal kind of black, like gray. Yeah, it's not the light blue gray from the. But a lot of that has to the Hoth lighting too, right?
There's a real depth to the eye on that, and I don't know if that's a paint effect or if that is a different quality of plastic that they've used just for that large eye. But it just there's something so good about
all
that.
the eyes have a gloss, sort of sheen to them.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Andy, what do you think of Josh coming in? Probe Droid gets a 4.
Yeah,
it's a 4. Nobody voted for it this week.
Well,
sorry to say, but
I guess we could have voted outside the box for this particular episode. It's hard to. Well, I mean, like for vehicles or.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a droid. I guess it technically is as much a character as C-3PO, like on a base scale. Like,
yeah.
Just not as much personality.
We don't see them. Well, yeah. I didn't hit it that hard. Must have had a self-destruct.
Where is the self-destruct button on this thing?
Man, I stand by what I said at the beginning, that this is the best droid in the line. Yeah. Maybe not the most memorable, but it is absolutely the best.
Are you sure, Wes?
You know what you can do with that, right?
Yeah.
You know where you can
put it up.
Yeah.
Put it up my ass.
I am gonna lay in here and do 4 whoosh effects on it.
4 whooshes for the probe droid.
One thing I would have liked to see, though,
sure,
similar to the actual movie style.
Yep.
And I don't know why they didn't. Is just a little LED light in that one spot.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Just to give it a little extra. I mean, Jesus, they did it with the 3 3/4 R2s, for Christ's sake.
Like an actual light?
Lights and sounds. And
oh wow!
You just push a tiny little button.
Wow. So the only time I ever had an R2D2 that did anything was when I bought the Star Wars edition of Trivial Pursuit, and there was an electronic R2D2 in the box that you pressed the dome, and it had a display on the chest. That was your dice.
Okay.
I had an RC R2 when I was a kid. And
the Kenner one?
I think so, yeah.
The big Kenner one, yeah.
And it would it had head but it would most of it was just a cheap RC thing. And then when it died, because eventually all those toys never lasted, it was like some sort of like statue to R2 that was in the background of all my 3.75 stuff.
I love the probe droid.
Awesome.
I also love the version. I'm not kidding when I say, like, I want the solo version, the one that's like straight up a gun laden killing machine.
I really like the way they're animated in Rebels. There's something about that look. I really like the way they're animated in Rebels.
I feel like for what this is another one. It's a 4. It's easily a 4. What's Josh saying here? Oh, hang on. Let's check in with Nate first. I like that they sent a dark droid to spy on a snow base, and it still worked.
It still worked.
It still worked.
Yeah, but when they were just flying through, they were firing those things off left and right.
That's true. That's true. They were going all over the system.
Yeah.
Of course, the Power of the Force 2, it had two gimmicks. It had one that was a missile launcher, and it had one where it blew apart.
I think I remember the missile launcher one, actually.
Have an R2-D2 that came with a Tatooine diorama that you push on a button on the front and a whistle sound effect. He's got a little light on it. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Because that would have, yes, says 6-inch for more adult collectors. We're not exactly blowing these things up, but even that would have been cool. Like a little, spring release and the pop the head off or something.
Yeah. When you consider that you're getting full light up lightsabers with Hot Toys and stuff,
I'd have to take another out there. I'd have to take another look at the Solo version, but I wonder if that was because if they use the same body, just replace the head and have some mountable guns or something, and then like a 2-for-1 or something.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
A droid with an alternate head.
All right, probe droid. Nobody voted for it, but we all like it. That's amazing. That brings us to the last offerings of the night and of the week. I am talking about the Luke Skywalker and Yoda Dagobah or Jedi training. This one, $44.99 US, so 55-60 Canadian at the time. Like I think you've got one there. Let's have a closer look. There they are. There they are. You have the open-eyed head on there. Yeah, you do.
I do. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yoda in the backpack as he's supposed to be.
Yeah, and this is the sculpt. My camera's very blurry for some reason there. That's probably the best Luke sculpt.
Put the
of the
figure
line.
In front of your face. Hide your own face.
My face.
No. Put your hand behind it. Yeah, because it'll want to focus on your face. Hold the figure up higher, a little higher. There. That's actually not too bad. There we go. I see him.
Yeah, that's there a really nice sculpt. So what my favorite thing about this is the arms, and I know it's crazy, but so we got all these Marvel characters, and they look like that, and they're all giant arms and stuff, and that's the way you want them to look. But he's lithe, like he's lean, and he's not muscular, but he's lean and cut, and that's exactly the way he is in the film.
Oh, he absolutely is.
And so that's a great just like a minor thing. Also, they hardly ever get shirtless or sleeveless characters right.
Yeah.
And it's not so bad. It's really well done. He's got some nice articulation, actually, because he should be able to do a bunch of crazy stuff.
I mean, the joke was, and this came in one of the comments this week in the voting, was handstand Luke.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Handstand Luke, right?
Absolutely.
Which he can do.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's go back to the figure itself. Let's take a look. Luke is the first. I separated this, by the way, into two. We're going to take a look at Luke, then we'll look at Yoda, and then we'll look at them together.
Okay.
But looking at Luke, I mean, don't forget, this figure comes with two alternate hands, so you can do the handstand, but you can also do that scene where he does the thing.
The Kermit the Frog.
The only thing they don't do is they don't give you another head with Mark Hamill's eyes closed, but man, I will take that any day of the week. I want to say this. We talked about this sort of last week, but like now that it's on screen, and I know we rag on Hasbro for not being able to get Mark Hamill's likeness down. This, even though it is super scene specific because he's all wet and sweaty, this is the best
by far
looking Luke in the line.
Is it better than the new Farm Boy?
The new Jedi? Oh, new. Yeah. Yes.
Wicked.
I think it's better than
because that is my contention. It's my contention that this is the best Luke Skywalker in the line so far.
I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah. I think that is 100% true. The Farm Boy Luke that just came out looks great, but there's still like, I don't know what it is, but this captures. I mean, they must have taken it from the scene that I've used the photo from, because that's Luke. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, 100%.
Of course, we get another issue of the Youngling Slayer
Mm-hmm.
and another edition of the Greedo Killer, which we just saw last week with Han Solo.
Mm-hmm. Rebel Han.
Yeah, that's right.
Endor Rebel.
Luke is pinless. He
Yes.
also has the blaster or the sword, the articulation in
wrist pivot.
both wrists.
Yeah, and pinless helps with that naked arm look, if you will.
Yeah, it does.
It goes a huge way.
Yeah, it does.
I'm going to score this one lower than you might think because I did vote for it, but I have a couple ways I think this could be improved. So this is a
Sure.
is a 2020.
Yep.
4.5. It's a 4.5 out of 5. It's a really, really nice figure. It is the best Luke in the line.
Yeah.
Now the problems I have with it, I absolutely, it's super, super lazy stuff to not weather the back of a figure when you go take the time to weather the front of a figure so well.
I mean, there's technically weathering there on his upper back, but I mean, if you were displaying him the same way that you did with the backpack on, you can't see that anyway.
No, exactly. So I kind of I'd like some muddy boots. I wouldn't mind. I don't think there's a scene on Dagobah where Luke, he looks like he got out of a shower. So I wouldn't mind some mud on his face, some mud on his arms, things like that. But otherwise, I don't think I have him carded, and I don't think it comes with all the gear. I'd also like to see the gun belt, so you could take the gun belt off for the scene.
Well, that's a different scene because this isn't that Luke. That Luke's wearing the jacket.
Well, that's true, and I could also, I guess you could give me a removable jacket too.
That's coming next week when we look at the other 40th.
Mm.
I have to put this up. If you don't get the reference here, you have to look up bad lip reading.
Seagulls.
I love that video so much. I can't tell you how many times I've watched it, but I've definitely contributed to the millions of views that it has.
Oh yeah, maybe.
It is so good. Josh coming in with a 4 for Luke.
Yeah,
and
really nice.
Nate, not just whoosh effect, 5 lightsaber whoosh effects.
Yeah.
Vroom, 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 vroom. I love it.
She's pretty sweet.
I love it. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
It occurred to me when I was going through this week. Hear me out on this one. Mark Hamill must have suffered on this movie. Because think about this. He's still wearing his winter boots.
Yeah.
Those are the winter boots from his cold weather gear that he hopped into his X-Wing because let me just flip back here. Remember, let me flip back.
Did you say the actor or the character would have suffered here?
Both. Both.
I heard that it was freezing on the set.
He's got the winter boots on, and then he switches into his pilot uniform, still got the same boots on. Now we go over to Dagobah. He just went from the Arctic to the jungle.
It's true.
In winter boots, and then he's gonna go. Oh,
it's true. Ugh. And they're wet. I mean, you could see the weight of that suit when he come out of the water, like the actual weight of that suit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Trench foot, anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Andy, what do you think of Jedi training Luke Skywalker?
Very cool figure. Love that they included the hands for extra scenes. 4.5 whoosh effects.
Oh yeah, he's a 4.5 for sure. I'm with you 100%. 4.5 whooshes. I got nothing bad to say about this figure. I mean, sure, more weathering. I agree, but I put a backpack on him, so you can't see it anyway, and nobody's looking at the back of my figures except for me. Now that being said, we got Luke Skywalker.
Well, question.
Yeah.
You can make him do the handstand.
Yes.
Can Yoda stand on top of his feet?
I suppose if you balanced it right, yes.
Yeah, if
that would be cool to see.
If you got it.
I'm gonna look for that. Okay, that's okay. We've
covered Luke.
Yeah, let's talk about Yoda. Here he is. Here's the new Yoda, and I do say the new Yoda, which is going to be a bit of a when it comes to next week, because we're going to get another Yoda, and we're all going to go, why the fuck didn't they just put this one in the box? But they didn't.
No.
Anyway, here's the new Yoda.
I love the throwback to the 3.75 Kenner with the brown undergarment. Remember taking the
Also,
cloak off the old one and
yeah, but then you know where this also reminds. This could be your Revenge of the Sith Yoda when
Where he
he
just fell out of
just
the
fought the
Senate.
Emperor,
right.
because he's crawling through the ductwork in the same outfit. Sean, man, I give it a 3 just for the Yoda. My God, you are a tough scoring man.
Mhm.
3.
Well,
Wow.
let me tell you why this is a 4 or better.
He just looks ridiculous without his cloak.
Look
he
at the
looks like he's got
size
good
of this. Looks
articulation.
like
Josh coming in with a 3.
you guys remember E.T.
Yeah.
I
And that
do.
guy
I do.
dresses up like Yoda on
Yeah,
Halloween.
yeah.
That's
Let
what
me
that
just
looks like.
let me solo that for you, Hank. Because I think
If I
that's
can get rid
a
of the glare.
worthy. That is worthy of look. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
He's
it is
twice
that
as
dramatic.
big. We get small droids and giant Yodas, and the face sculpt is,
It's pretty darn good.
it's pretty darn great.
It is pretty darn good.
So I haven't even bothered the archive, even though he comes with the lightsaber and the snake, etc. This is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
And what did I say? He is a 4. He's pretty and he comes with 2 heads. And this is what I want from my just a couple more heads, a couple more hands. I don't know why it has to be deluxe. GI Joe doesn't have this problem. When you get
No, they
an
don't.
actual GI Joe deluxe figure, you get 5 sets of hands. You get 3 heads. Blah,
just
blah, blah, you know what
got-
I mean? Like
You get an animal.
I just
or,
got my
something.
retro carded Flint this week. He came with 3 sets of hands, a pistol, a shotgun, and a backpack.
yeah.
And that's just a retro carded one. Like
Yeah.
a normal version figure comes with at least all of that and sometimes more.
Sometimes blast effects. And
Yeah. So arguably the image of Yoda in the leaning on his cane might be one of the most famous images of Yoda in all of everything.
mhm.
And I feel like they've captured that. Like it's there. The portrait is there.
It's not bad. I think we're getting into that era of shiny prints because I did notice
We absolutely are.
I did notice Luke and Yoda in hand are shinier than I sort of remember when I look at them in that light.
So here's the trade-off. I just criticized Luke for not coming with an eyes closed when he's trying to lift the X-wing out, but they made up for it. They did that. They gave it to Yoda because Yoda's the one that actually gets it out of the water.
Mhm.
So I guess, I mean, if we got to cut something, Luke doesn't get a second head.
Well, I mean, the amount of Luke figures that are coming out, eventually you could get one, right?
Yeah. I will say this, looking at the two of them side by side, which we just did, in actuality, there's a nice comparison for you. I believe the soft goods that they used are cut from the same material. It is very close to the Tusken Raider Sand People material that they use. So it's okay. It's not perfect.
But it'll do.
But it's pretty close.
Mhm.
Pretty close. Retro Flint is meh. I have a solution for that.
You order direct from Hasbro and get one of the 82 red
That
ones.
doesn't make the figure any better.
Makes
Pull-
it sought after.
Pull the beret down until you can no longer see Flint's eyebrows. 100% more badass.
Nice.
Nate says, I do like the soft goods. I do as well. And follows that up with, he gets 5 seagull whoosh effects.
Nice.
Mine.
It's funny. He's been in the backpack for so long that I don't know if you can see that. Looks like he's got a heart on. There's
You should have tucked that in a little more.
Well, there's a permanent thing in his cloak there, so he looks like he's
It's Yoda Whitaker there in the middle.
rubbing on your back. I am.
Wow. Wow.
Oh.
Why a snake though? Interesting question. And I don't know if we're making jokes about the Indiana Jones Lucasfilm snake thing. The snake is in the movie.
It's like dinner.
Yoda needs a snack.
Luke picks it up and moves it out of the way
Yeah.
when Yoda's offering him dinner. Good food. So yeah. Plus, there is the this definitely is a callback to the vintage line where Yoda came with the little orange snake,
Or brown.
or brown if you were lucky enough to get the variant. Yep. Yeah. So there's Yoda, and of course, Yoda in the backpack on Luke's back, and that is, of course, how I have mine as well.
Whispering
I guess
sweet
as a
nothings in
package,
his ear.
this is a 5.
Yeah, I
5
mean,
booster packs as
wait,
a kit.
did you want to just say you did already? You said Yoda by himself was?
I think he's 4.5.
Yeah,
He
Andy,
scores higher than Luke, but because he's so much better. I know that's weird, probably to explain, but he's so much better than the other Yoda.
and has all of the articulation of the larger figure.
Right. But this Luke is just that's my it's my Luke. So you know what I mean? Like that's why I voted that way.
I do,
But
yeah.
they're both stellar. As a package, that's a solid 5. I mean, this is just a snippet of how good this line can be. And
Yep.
it's about to go downhill.
Andy, what do you think of
not in every way, but
what do you think of the Jedi training Yoda?
I really like him. 4 whoosh effects, but as a package, 5.
Yeah, I'm with you. He alone is a 4 out of 5. But as you say, as a package deal with the other figure, it's a 5. It's a 5 whoosh. Whatever kind of whooshes you want it to be, it's 5
Seal
of them.
whooshes.
Yep. It's absolutely 5. Josh says 3 for Yogurt, 4 for Luke, 4.5 overall.
Yeah.
4.5 overall.
That's fair.
Now,
yeah,
since we are getting Spaceballs 2,
yep.
Will we finally get the figure line and get a yogurt?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on which company is contracted to make them.
Well,
Right.
all of them want money these days, right?
I mean,
As per the end of the last movie,
it's only
Exactly. A search for more money.
Tron Legacy got a figure line when the movie came out. Nobody really bought it. And now here we are, 15 years later, and Hasbro's just doing that now.
Doing it again.
So who knows?
I don't know who's the film.
May the Schwans
who's
be
releasing
with
the film?
you. Who's doing the
Not
movie?
sure.
I don't
Who
know.
released the last one? That's a good question.
That is a good question. I'd have to ask the Google machine for that. I'm not really sure. That, however, does bring us to that point in the show where we need to turn our attention to one more. The Jack. Oh shit! I just went too far.
Spoiler.
There we go. The Jack Porkins Medal of Badassery is awarded to the best overall figure of each episode. The inscription reads "Non Mentum Lorem" or "No Chin Strap," because, like the Duke John Wayne, Porkins knew chin straps are for sissies. No surprise here. Like I said, nobody voted for. Well, let me tell you. Let me go this way.
Nobody voted for Dak.
We still have relatively low voting numbers, but Snowspeeder got one.
Oh.
Snowspeeder got 1 vote.
Okay.
Yoda, 6.
Mm.
Luke Skywalker, 7.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, congratulations, Luke Skywalker, with your plethora of movie accurate accessories and the best portrait of Mark Hamill to date. The Force is with you.
Nice.
I give it to both of them, to be honest. I mean, we're talking a difference of 1 vote. I mean, that they were, as a whole, that was the best thing on the menu this week, as far as I'm concerned. By the way, the menu. Would you like to see next week's selection?
She is vast, huh?
Well, yes, we have many. We have multiple corsets. There they are, of 3 corsets.
Oh, it looks good.
Yeah. I mean, it is a long. It's going to be a long one next week. Now, we won't spend a whole lot of time on figures that are just straight up reissues. And in the top row, there are 3 of them. In the middle row, there's 2 of them. And in the bottom row, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So we may glance over those a little bit quicker than we would if this was the first time looking at them. But because they are on the retro card, we will stop to take a look at that, because that is a big part of the appeal with these figures, is that retro card back.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a funny anecdote, because Han Solo and Carbonite, oh man, for all you people out there that were like all upset that you didn't get the SDCC Boba Fett back in 13, could have saved yourself a whole lot of money.
A lot of money.
Which I did. And they did. And they did. I'm still in the seagulls. Hey, damn you! I love it. Darth Vader, Chewbacca, Boba Fett, the Snow Trooper, Luke Skywalker, Dagobah, which we just looked at without Yoda, Lando Calrissian, the Imperial TIE Fighter pilot, which did the TIE pilot actually make an appearance in the movie?
No.
No, they
I don't
didn't.
think they cut to the pilot like they
Don't think
do at
they
the
did
Battle
at
of the Death
all.
Star.
Unless they were like lined up in the when everybody arrives on the Death
You know
Star.
what? I don't think we cut to TIE pilots
That doesn't
in
happen in
Return of the
Empire.
Jedi either.
That's in Jedi.
Huh.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right. Lando Calrissian, Bespin. This one actually has a little bit of an improvement. It's R2 from Dagobah. There's all the dirt. All the dirt that didn't go on Luke went on to R2.
Yeah.
There's our other new tooled figure, Luke Skywalker Snow Speeder, Hoth Rebel Soldier, which I don't know if that's any indication of how I feel about it, but maybe it is. Zuckuss and Forlom in the Kenner Deco. We talked about these ones before, but it's worth revisiting just for the name swap. There's that Han Solo and Carbonite Amazon exclusive, which is a slug figure. It is straight up the SDCC 2013 Han Solo and Carbonite. Luke Skywalker Bespin, that's with the jacket on. So there's your belt.
Yeah.
There's your belt and gun. Bespin Han Solo, which we've already looked at. Yoda, which is not the little little guy Yoda. It's
Nope.
it's the bigger little Yoda. Essentially, it's the archive Yoda again, and then the AT-AT driver. They were in the yes, they show the TIE pilots in the movies. They cut to them while they were in the TIE fighter. Then Darth Vader was walking down the hall, or walking next to him in Empire.
That's a New Hope. Yeah.
In A New Hope, absolutely it is.
Yeah, they don't cut to the TIE pilots in Empire or
I
Jedi.
I don't believe there's a cutaway to them. I'm out getting dinner. I'm not even going to correct anything. Talk to text does not like. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay.
Goddamn clankers.
That's right. That's right. Just say hello to our new AI overlords for us. Next week, yeah, full menu, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys will come back and tune into that. Hopefully, we'll be back to regular schedule.
Oh, yeah.
I got a little bit of work to do for our good friend Zazel over at the clubhouse. Hopefully, that'll pan out as well. Anything you guys want to touch on before we wrap it up and say good night?
No, this is always so much fun.
It's always a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. Me too.
I got nothing.
And we still went over an hour.
I know, right?
That's all right. I think it was all the and they
coffee
did
talk.
and they
Coffee
did
talk.
coffee. Yeah,
talk.
coffee. Cars and coffee. And comedians and cars are getting coffee.
With the wigs.
Oh man. Vision season 3. Anybody want to weigh in on that? It is coming. It is coming. Did you guys see the thing in the group chat? Everybody see the what's everybody's thoughts on the hunt for Ben Solo?
Oh, they should. Yeah. That's the best idea they've had. That they've said a lot of things that haven't tickled me, and that I went, that tickles me. And then it makes me upset that you're making movies without scripts. You're literally filming things that don't have scripts yet. And that apparently it was ready to shoot. like and when it's a rare thing. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is known for it and stuff like that. But it's a rare thing to have an actor attached to something and have it be a passion project and have it be a $1 billion franchise. And it doesn't even make sense to me.
There was a thing, a news piece this week that came out. Somebody or a group of somebodies got together and contracted not a skywriter, but
the banner guy.
Pull a banner behind the plane.
Yeah.
Save the hunt for Ben Solo.
Yeah.
I read one thing though where the executives were like, "Well, he's dead. How will we get that?" You guys did a line that says somehow he returned. Build.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah.
He gets. Yeah. I mean,
you can do it once. You can do it again.
You know, Kelly, I watched that with Kelly, and just because I was like, excited about Star Wars, and I wanted
Of
him to
course,
see it.
of course, yeah, of course.
And in the theater, I could, in the end scene, I could feel him, getting visibly. And so when she died and he
Yeah,
lived right before he
yeah,
transferred,
yeah,
Kelly
yeah,
started clapping. Like he thought, no, that's a really good end to that movie.
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
kill
yeah,
your
yeah.
whole protagonist and you move forward with this new. And he was like the only one clapping in the theater. And then he brought her back to life, sacrificed himself, and Kelly was like, that's horseshit. I don't even
Yeah.
know Star Wars, and that's
Yeah.
horseshit.
It's bizarre. Yeah, it is. It is definitely a bizarre move to do that.
So I'm all in. I don't even care about the continuity or anything. I want to see that so much more than a
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that.
Ray trilogy about the future. I mean, I know that's probably going to be good, and it's not Daisy Ridley. It's got nothing to do with Daisy Ridley. I think she's a capable actress. But I really, really, really like to see him in a movie he's invested in, because he's a
Yep,
seriously good actor.
He really is. He really is. And he was working on it with the guys that did Logan Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good movie.
It was.
Yeah. Like I said, passion project. They were just having fun, and they're like, "Whoa, hold on, we just made a movie. Let's try to pitch this now."
I'm with you. I would like to see that project. Now, I don't want to get into the question of ownership. Who owns it? Does Lucasfilm own that? Does the writer own that? If they didn't buy it, like,
we can attach
the deal?
Zack Snyder and call it the Schmerch for Schmenschmolo.
Now that we've got that out of the way, let's go Kylo Ren adjacent. Let's talk about the Knights of Ren for a second, because
that came up too.
That's another piece that came out this week that
people are saying,
now
I know, talk from us.
I know that we had differing opinions on that, and I agree when we talk about the Acolyte that it did not land the way that Lucasfilm wanted it. But I think between the three of us, I was maybe the most forgiving, and I was like, concepts and ideas. There were great concepts and there were great ideas. By the way, I went back and rewatched because it came up in a reel. It came up in a reel from The Rise of Skywalker, the Emperor sitting there when he accidentally gets a little bit of the life force and the hand regenerates.
Yeah.
He actually drops the words, "the power of two." So the Emperor said it first. Anyway, that's not what I came to talk about.
I think if I could stomach to watch our not because
our own episodes,
great, but if I could stomach to, I think you'll find in there that I had mentioned that helmet looked like he was a Knight of Ren.
And there it is. So what's her name? Charmaine Obad Chinoy,
I think so,
has dropped that Chimere was going to be the first Knight of Ren.
Mm-hmm.
Great idea.
Han coming back with robot legs. That's a good idea.
Han with robot legs. Hey, I mean, if Darth Maul can just keep coming back.
I didn't see him technically die. I mean,
Han Solo?
Yeah,
he just fell off a bridge. Fell off a bridge.
Railings save lives.
Yep.
So that would undo what the comics have already established as the Knights of Ren as canon.
But Tony Gilroy did it in Andor. He did it with K2SO.
Lightly. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
There was no on the reprogramming was done by the rebels, not by Cassian. Didn't mind the Acolyte. No, I didn't mind it either. I didn't like some of the things that they did with it. But yeah, good. There were a lot of good ideas, for sure. There was. But that whole Knight of Ren thing, I was like, oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. Good idea. All right. I guess that's it. I'm all talked out.
Okay.
I want to go and have a drink now. I need to decompress.
Iced coffee or beer?
I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. All right. Stick with us tomorrow night. Andy and I, at least, for sure, the two of us will be back. Hank, you are more than welcome to join us. Always nice when you surprised us when you hopped in last week. So, hey. Random fan.
Ding.
Hello?
It's all right.
Hello?
I was just reaching for things, and things got in the way of other things.
Red's Apple Ale. I don't think we have that here. All right. That is it for me, though. Anything, Andy?
Not that I can. Oh,
no. Yeah.
First episode of Welcome to Derry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was good, eh?
Awesome.
You liked it?
Awesome.
Very good.
You don't
Very
get to see Pennywise.
good. No.
They are drawing out the terror in
Okay.
such a wonderful way.
All right.
And seeing a lot of Port Hope in it is just like,
Yeah.
but
Especially having walked through the set. So that yeah.
yeah.
All right. Hank, you got anything?
No, I'm good. That was perfect.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see everybody tomorrow night on Random Fandom. If not, come back next Sunday, as we should be back to schedule for maybe the biggest, most jam-packiest. Well, that was probably something I shouldn't have said.
Oh no, it's jam-packeted.
Jam-packed episode of Back in Black series ever, as we look at the entirety of the 40th, what's left of the 40th Empire Strikes Back figure offerings. As always, everybody, whatever your thing is, I hope you fan on. And remember, as always, for Fandom Power, my name is Wes.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Hank.
And we will see you all on the next one. Bye for now, everybody.